All right, so good evening, everybody. Thank you for being here for your first or second time. We pray that you would get benefit from what is being presented. Uh, our academy is called H.E.A.L Lifestyle Academy, and the H.E.A.L is an acronym for four areas that we specialize in. Health and wellness includes spiritual health, effective communication, anger resolution, leadership, and personal development. And we have started on a series called 24 Meds Not Found in Pharmacies. We have concluded four of those parts, and you'd find that on our YouTube channel, I think, except for the fourth one, but it should be there by now. 24 Meds Not Found in Pharmacies, Before we start, we wanted to tell you two things. Get paper, take notes, right? Get paper and a writing instrument, because the shortest pencil is longer than the longest memory. And the second thing I'd like to say is to stay away from the 5 worst words in the world. And the 5 worst words in the world are, I have heard that before. Those words create closed-mindedness, not open-mindedness. There are also 2 promises I'd like to make. Promise number 1 is that you will learn something that you can use right away today. And promise number 2, I'm available to work with you on a one-to-one basis, or speak at your church, or to do a leadership seminar, health seminar, communication seminar, anger management seminar. We are available. At the end of the presentation, you would find our contact information. Let's go through our disclaimer. The information in this presentation is intended for general informational purposes only, and should not be considered as a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. As a naturopathic doctor, I am sharing insights and suggestions based on my expertise in natural health and wellness. However, it's important to consult with a medical doctor before making any significant changes to your health regimen, especially if you have underlying medical conditions, or you're taking medications, or have specific health concerns. All right, so as we said, today we are on number 5. Number 5 of our series of 24 things not found in pharmacies, 24 meds not found in pharmacies. And number 5, today we're dealing with sleep. Sleep is medicine. Last week we dealt with hydration. Hydration is medicine. And it says a good night's sleep is the best medicine, right? That's what science is saying now. Sleep is medicine. And we want to understand the healing power of rest, the healing power of rest. And as you see here, the tagline for our academy is nurturing your transformation, nurturing your transformation. All right, as an overview for the series, in this series, we will explore various aspects that can be considered as medicine without the use of pharmaceuticals. These non-pharmaceutical methods play a vital role in maintaining and improving our health and our well-being. And we are working with this definition of medicine, that it is something that affects your well-being. Very simple, very simple. Medicine is something that affects your well-being. It can affect it positively or negatively, but it will affect your well-being. So why is sleep considered as not just medicine, but good medicine? Good medicine. Why? Because sleep is considered as medicine because it is vital for our health and well-being as human beings. All right, so right off the bat, we want you to know that sleep is considered medicine because it is vital for health and well-being in your body, in my body as human beings, as you would see as we go along. So why is sleep important? Well, there are a couple of reasons. Quality sleep enhances your brain function, your mood, and your overall health. And somebody on here today who probably didn't have good sleep last night, you probably saw that your brain function was not at the best, your mood was not the best, and you didn't feel good. Or maybe you know somebody else in your household or on the job who manifested these things. Consistently poor sleep increases the risk of various health issues that includes heart disease, stroke, obesity, and dementia. Right? Heart issues, strokes, obesity, and even dementia. Now, some would say that sleep is a waste of time. A lot of people that are wealthy, they believe that sleep is a waste of time. They get about 4 hours of sleep. In fact, there's a multi-millionaire on YouTube that is bragging that he gets 4 hours of sleep during the week. And on the weekend, he'll probably get 6. And I can tell you that that's terrible for 2 reasons. One, the average adult needs about 7 to 8 hours of sleep. And 2, there is something called a circadian rhythm. And we'll talk more about that needs to be going at the same time, at the same speed. So it is unfortunate that we live in a society today that does not value the importance of sleep. And sleep is too often considered to be a waste of time. All right. It's a bare necessity to be finished as quickly as possible. We want to debunk that theory, that mindset. So over the past several decades, adults in the United States have decreased the average number of hours of sleep about 20% or so. And this means that we are sleeping 1.5 hours less than our grandparents slept. So because of this, more than a quarter of Americans, and I think we can say around the world, report being so sleepy during the day that it interferes with their daily activities. What is of critical concern is the effect that this has on our safety on the highway. In the United States, for example, there are more than 6 million car accidents that occur every year, more than 6 million. And because of drowsy drivers, this is the leading cause of death, claiming over 38,000 lives each year. So for each year, there are 38,000 funerals just for car accidents, vehicular accidents. Over 6,000 car crashes as well every year. And in the US, there are more than 6 million, as we said, accidents that occur every year because of drowsy drivers, just because of that. And a study of 732 accidents over 2 decades, 20 years, more than 20 years, has found that the annual switch to daylight saving time. So for those of us who live outside of the US, in the United States, in some states, except Florida, there is a daylight switch, daylight savings time in the spring. And then in the fall, we go back 1 hour. And a study has found that of 732 car accidents over 2 decades, that the annual switch to daylight saving time, so from the fall to the daylight, is associated with 6% increase. How much? 6% increase in fatal car crashes that particular week when there's a time change. All right, so 6% for the springtime change. This 6% happened in the 24 hours following the springtime change when only an hour of sleep is usually lost. And there is an almost equal decrease that occurs in the fall when an hour is gained. So other studies support this as well, right? Talking about sleep. So depriving ourselves of sleep is much like depriving yourself of food. If you eat fewer calories, then of course you're going to lose weight. If the calories are less than you need every day, you're going to lose the weight because of the effects that are cumulative. So in the same way, when we deprive ourselves of sleep, we accumulate the total amount of sleep lost over days, in days, all right? So if you lose 1 hour of sleep each night for 1 week, what's going to happen? Anybody knows? You obtain a sleep debt of 7 hours. Remember, 1 hour a day, right? And that leads to what? 7 hours a week of sleep deprivation, sleep debt, right? DBT, which could lead to DEAT, to H, all right? And this is nearly the same as losing a whole night's sleep, right? Because we should be sleeping for what, 7 hours a night, and you lose 1 hour every night, 7 days, 1 week, you lose one entire night of sleep. All right, let us settle in for a while. All right, let's look at the effects of sleep debt, So according to the American Academy of Sleep Medicine, they run a campaign called Sleep is Good Medicine that highlights sleep's critical role in health and well-being. And they advise adults to get at least 7 hours of sleep every night, with older adults needing 7 to 8 hours of sleep. So some of the health benefits of sleep are: 1, cognitive functioning. Sleep aids in brain detoxification, memory storage, and immune regulation. So right off the bat, we see the one benefit for those of you who might be in school of whatever age. Instead of staying up late till 2 or 3 in the morning studying, you are doing irreparable damage to your brain. It is better to go to bed by 9:30, to be asleep by 10 o'clock, and to get up about 2 to 3 a.m. in the morning. The sleep doubles. After 12 o'clock, the sleep hours double. So instead of going from, I beg your pardon, from 10 to 2 would normally be how many hours? Any mathematicians? 10 to 12 is 2 hours, 12 to 2 is 4 hours. That time will double. So when you wake up at 3 o'clock to study, your brain is fresh. And the memory of what you studied the day before is stored, and you have immune regulation. Mental health: adequate sleep improves your mood and lowers the risk of mental illness. Physical health: sleep supports healthy weight management. It reduces accident risk, alleviates chronic pain, and promotes muscle repair during the non-REM sleep, or non-rapid eye movement sleep. Your immunity: proper sleep enhances vaccine efficacy and antibody production. So let's go through each one of those that we just covered there one by one, right? So sleep deprivation has direct effects on thinking ability and mental efficiency. And that's why it is used by some law enforcement agencies as a way to get people to crack, right? Especially by the military, to get people to crack. and to give up whatever they want to find out. So sleep helps to consolidate your memories. It improves problem-solving skills and your creativity. Sleep deprivation has direct effects on your thinking ability and your mental efficacy. When you are sleep deprived, you have a general slowing of your mental processes. Sleepy people have a difficult time concentrating and keeping their attention fixed on the task at hand. And important information is frequently missed, and these lapses can be disastrous. Emotional well-being. Now, even our moods, as we described before, are affected by sleep deprivation or sleep debt. Not only do tired people feel more fatigued and less vigorous, but they also tend to become more depressed. So while proper sleep reduces stress and anxiety, it enhances your mood and your mental health, sleep debt does the opposite. Emotional well-being, see the nice furry feline, and it's telling you that the blood type is B negative. I can think of some people who I know that their blood type is always B negative, BE negative. But as sleep debt increases, you lose your ability to enjoy things and activities that you normally do. You may tend to often withdraw from others as their irritability increases significantly. Sleep and physical health. Sleep deprivation is said to negatively impact physical endurance. Despite your level of training, it can cause less stamina. You can get tired faster and make it harder to work out at maximum capacity. Additionally, sleep deprivation can affect how much endurance you have in exercises that go beyond 30 minutes. But getting good sleep regulates your blood pressure. If you're suffering with blood pressure, consider how much sleep you're getting at night. It reduces the risk of heart disease and supports healthy metabolism, sleep, and physical health. Sleep deprivation is said to negatively impact physical endurance despite level of training. We talk about this, it can cause stamina, you get tired faster, make it harder to work out at maximum capacity. And if you go past 30 minutes, you tend to flop. Sleep strengthens your bodily defense system. So evidence continues to accumulate that relatively small amounts of sleep loss can weaken your immune system and make you more likely to succumb to infections and diseases. Sleep strengthens your body's defense against illness, and it aids in faster recovery when you are sick. So here are some risks of sleep deprivation as it increases your health risk, right? One, it will increase your blood pressure, give you high blood pressure, make your heart go faster. It can give you coronary heart disease, you can get obese, you can pick up type 2 diabetes, you get inflammation, and inflammation is like the foundation of most diseases. And you can get death from cardiovascular disease and death in general. All of this from being sleep deprived or having sleep debt. And we also think about sleep and weight management, right? So adequate sleep is crucial for weight management. If you want to lose weight, get sleep. Lack of sleep can lead to weight gain and to obesity. Obesity is where you are about 30% over the weight that you should be for your height and for your age, 30% over. And when you're not sleeping, you're up watching television or a movie, it also influences your hunger, your energy levels, and your physical activity. Sleep deprivation causes or raises the hunger hormone, the ghrelin, Ghrelin, right? That's your hunger hormone that controls your hunger. Sleep deprivation raises that, and it lowers leptin. Leptin is the hormone that signals that you are full, right? So you can see how you can easily overeat, and then you go to sleep after that, you're just building fat, right? And risking your life. So sleep helps to regulate your appetite hormones. It reduces your risk of obesity. So here are some tips for better sleep, right? We want to say, first of all, that you need to have a regular time for going to bed and a regular time to rise that allows you between 7 to 9 hours of good sleep, and stick to your schedule even on the weekend, and you'll see why soon. So we're saying maintain a regular sleep schedule. And I would suggest by 9:30, no later than 9:30 p.m., you should be in bed. You should be in bed to fall asleep by 10 p.m. I'm not always good with that, but I'm intentional about it, because around 10 o'clock, your body begins to shut down, and all of the major organs are then being reprocessed. But that happens only if you are asleep. If you're awake, that does not happen. Doesn't happen at all. So 2 hours of sleep, we are told, before midnight is better than 4 to 6 hours after midnight, right? And for those of you who work at night, I sympathize with you. I'll be praying for you, and you to pray and ask God for victory over working at night. It is very, very dangerous. And then when you retire, your body is so used to being up all night, it's hard to sleep. It's hard to sleep. All right. So maintain a regular sleep schedule and stick to it as much as possible. Stick to it. Create a relaxing bedtime routine. All right. For example, over here it says take a bath, a warm bath. Probably put on your pajamas, of course, brush your teeth, wash my hands and face, listen to a story. I would say reading a book is better than listening to the story, because you're not using all of the neurons are not sparking because of the device you're listening from. Get a drink of water, use the potty, say your prayers, and get tucked in bed with kisses and hugs. Amen. All right. So create your own bedtime routine, write it down, and try and stick with it. See the man here, his routine is to read before he goes to bed. He has a reading lamp that doesn't disturb his wife, and he's reading. This helps you to sleep sounder and to fall asleep faster, I promise you. We just talked about this. Limit screen time before you go to bed. Limit screen time before you go to bed. In fact, the National Sleep Foundation and the American Academy of Sleep Medicine recommend turning off screens at least half an hour to 1 hour before bedtime. And studies show that the blue light that emits from your computer, from your cell phone, your TV, and the blue light that emits uh, um, give you emissions from the screen, and this can suppress the melatonin. Melatonin is the sleep hormone, right? This hormone helps you to sleep, and the blue light could suppress that hormone. All right, so between half an hour to an hour, you want to shut off those devices. All right. Sleep environment. We're suggesting that you sleep in a dark, quiet, cool room with a supportive, comfortable bed whenever possible, right? Invest in a comfortable mattress and pillows if possible, and reduce noise by wearing earplugs and silencing phone calls and non-essential alerts. Avoid watching TV, reading or working in the sleeping area, right? The reading, this has been changed. When I say reading, I mean like studying, schoolwork in the sleeping area during the day, all right? Because your body gets used to the room and the activity that happens there is the same as if you are on a church board or some other board and you meet in a certain room every time on a certain day, right? Certain date. And you normally have fights in that area. Whenever you meet there, your body gets ready for that same action. All right. So you're training your mind, training your body. Okay, sleep and diet, right? And we are suggesting that you use almonds. Well, before I go there, avoid heavy meals and caffeine before bedtime. Avoid heavy meals and caffeine before bedtime. Your last meal, if you're not diabetic or you want to lose weight or be healthy, your last meal should really be between 3 and 4 o'clock. If you want to lose weight, if you want to reverse diabetes, but your last meal should go no more than 5 o'clock, the latest 6 o'clock. That's why in the hospital, when you go there, they give you your last meal around 6 o'clock because they know it takes about 4 to 5 hours for your meal to digest. And you don't want to go to bed with your food in your stomach undigested. All right. So avoid heavy meals and caffeine. Caffeine is only in coffee, in sodas before bedtime. It will increase your blood pressure and keep you up. All right, will keep you up. And include sleep promoting foods like almonds and chamomile tea. Almonds and chamomile tea. I get somebody asking almonds, why almonds? All right, here's why. So almonds contain melatonin, right? That's a sleep hormone. They contain melatonin, magnesium, and calcium, which may help to regulate the sleep-wake cycle, reduce stress, and promote muscle, relaxation. About 1 ounce serving of almonds has 77 milligrams of magnesium and 76 milligrams of calcium. Did I miss something? Okay, no. All right, wonderful. All right, so that's almonds. Maybe you can try it tonight or this evening. Try some almonds and see how they work out for you. Also, we have chamomile tea. Chamomile tea contains apigenin, which is an antioxidant. And antioxidants fight free radicals that cause cancer. It contains an antioxidant that may bind to your brain receptors to promote sleepiness and to reduce insomnia, right? It's a natural remedy for sleep disorders. And we're going to talk about that in a few minutes, sleep disorders, right? But it's a natural remedy for sleep disorder. You also have cat claw, right? The number of herbs that are natural remedies for sleep disorders. And to drink and make this chamomile tea, we're suggesting that you take the tea 45 to 60 minutes before bed. And to do this, you can steep 4 tablespoons of fresh or 2 tablespoons of dried chamomile flowers in 1 cup of boiling water and let it sit for about 5 minutes, All right, exercise and sleep, right? Exercise helps you fall asleep faster. That is before bedtime, of course, to sleep more soundly and to wake up feeling refreshed. So we will go into each one of those in a while, right? But exercise can have many positive effects on your sleep, including helping you to fall asleep faster. It can help you also to sleep more soundly when you're falling asleep, to sleep more soundly. It helps you to wake up feeling refreshed. And it also helps your circadian rhythm. Regular exercise can also regulate your body's circadian rhythm. The word circadian is Latin. It means about a day, or a day cycle. And so it's basically your brain clock. Your brain, if you get up at a certain time, like some people get up at 5 o'clock every morning, and they can go to bed at 12 midnight. They're gonna get up at 5 because the brain clock has been synchronized, right? So the circadian rhythm is the brain clock that governs when you sleep, when you get up, when you eat, when you take a shower. It's a clock, right? And this can promote more consistent sleep patterns, right? This is why we are told that we should eat at a certain time. So that if your time to eat is 8 o'clock, don't go past 9 o'clock. Within that hour window, you kind of okay, right? But you want to avoid going past that time. The body is waiting for the food. Your mouth is secreting the juices to help to begin to digest the food. And when the food doesn't show up, we have problems. All right? So we're saying that avoid vigorous exercise close to bedtime. And I guess that's the obvious to all of us that when you do rigorous exercise, your blood pressure is up, and your heart is racing when everything should be shutting down to go to sleep, right? And whatever exercise you do that is vigorous, whatever it is, that could affect uh, your sleep if it's too close to bedtime. Okay, so let's talk about two sleep disorders that we know about: insomnia and sleep apnea. All right, how we can manage these sleeping disorders, if not get rid of them. So a sleep disorder that makes insomnia is a sleep disorder that makes it hard to fall asleep, hard to stay asleep, or hard to get quality sleep. Insomnia affects you falling asleep, and when you do fall asleep, to stay asleep, and if you do sleep, to get quality sleep, right? It can also cause uh, you to wake up too early and be unable to fall back asleep. This can lead to daytime sleepiness, low energy, irritability, and a depressed mood. And it will affect your health, your work performance, and your quality of life. Some people may be more likely to experience insomnia, including those who are older, have a lot of stress, are depressed, and have a lower income, or work at night, travel long distances, or have an inactive lifestyle. All right, I'll go do it again, right? What might cause you to have insomnia? Uh, as they get older, you may get insomnia because you're not exercising as much. You have a lot of stress. You are depressed. You have a lower income. Of course, that causes stress and depression. You work at night. You travel long distances often, or you have an inactive lifestyle. All of those can cause insomnia. Sleep apnea. This is a more serious one. Sleep apnea is a potentially serious sleep disorder where you are breathing you're breathing repeatedly, and you're stopping and starting, right? And the muscles, there are two reasons why this might happen. This is the more common reason. The muscles in the back of your throat may be too relaxed, or number two, your brain fails to send signals to your breathing muscles and causes them to relax and sleep, right? There's something called a CPAP, see right here, that people normally use. And the CPAP is called a continuous positive airway pressure device, right? CPAP, continuous positive airway pressure device, a CPAP machine. If you have sleep apnea, there are natural remedies we can suggest, like the chamomile tea, what have you, but you need to seek professional help. Professional help, right? There are doctors that specialize in sleep. You need to seek special help for that. All right. So it says that it is vain to rise up early. Oops, I'm sorry. It is vain to rise up early, to sit up late, to eat the bread of sorrows, for so he giveth his beloved sleep. Right? That's from the Proverbs. Right? So this emphasizes that the peace and the safety that comes from trusting in God can lead to restful sleep, but it is vain to rise up early in the morning, get up at 4 in the morning, but you sit up till 12 midnight and eating the bread of sorrows, because God has given us sleep. You are his beloved. Proverbs 3:24 gives assurance, when thou liest down, thou shalt not be afraid. Yea, thou shalt lie down, and thy sleep shall be sweet. So this is a proverb that you can learn, very short. And when you lie in bed, you're not able to sleep, you can learn this and quote it back to God. Philippians 4:6 and 7 says, be anxious for nothing, including falling asleep, but by prayer and supplication. Supplication is humbly reading God's word back to him. Lord, you said in Proverbs 3:24 that when I lie down to sleep, I shouldn't be afraid, shouldn't be anxious, right? Yes, I will lie down and my sleep shall be sweet. I'm claiming it in Jesus' name, right? So he said, with supplication and thanksgiving, let your requests be made known unto God. And verse 7 has a promise, and the peace of God that passeth all understanding shall keep your heart and mind through Christ Jesus, right? Philippians 4:6 and 7. So we have to learn to control our stress and our anxiety positively by putting our trust in God. Trusting God. All right. So that's the end of our presentation. We're advising you to remember the key points, that the journey to a better life or better health starts with a single step, and you need to take action. Take action. All right. We're going to entertain some questions or have little discussions if you are up to it. The floor is now open for questions that I can answer, and hopefully the answer I give you, you will accept. If you don't accept it, that's okay. Who'll be first? Who'll be first?
Is it better to take magnesium just before bed, the supplement before bed, or throughout the day?
Well, Doctor, this is your area. You tell me. You tell us.
Well, I don't know. I keep hearing different things, so I don't know. I'm not sure because
Yeah,
from research, I just see different things and there's different kinds of magnesium, but
correct. So, for
Mhm.
example, one of the reasons, like last week, we talked about hydration, right? And we talked about using salt. For the Celtic salt, I see your hand, Elder Isaac. Using Celtic salt because you have the granules under your tongue, on top of the tongue, because there's magnesium in the salt as one of the nutrients in good salt, right? And the magnesium helps to open up your cells to draw the water into your cells, right? So magnesium is a good thing. So if you're using salt before your water, you are getting magnesium during the day. I would, as I often do, if you're asking me, the only company I recommend to get your products from at this point is Rain International, right? That's where I get all my products for my clients. All their products are seed-based, a highly respected company. But we are saying that the what do you call it? The almonds also has magnesium, has the melatonin to help you to relax you before you fall asleep. So you're free to use it as well during the day. But especially if you have problems falling asleep, we are saying that have it right before you go to bed, not too long before you go to bed, or not too far away. I hope that
Okay,
answers.
thanks.
You're welcome. All right, Elder Isaac, go right ahead, please.
Okay, thanks for that. Good evening, everyone, and thanks for that wonderful presentation.
All right, praise
Um, all right. Now, it's very interesting in having conversations with individuals about sleep that a lot of people, I don't know where the idea came from. You might probably be able to help me with that. That even though they don't go to sleep at night until 12 o'clock, or they would miss out on sleep and they could always make it up. I don't know. In all my research over the years, I have not seen anywhere where that proves to be a true statement, but a lot of people still believe that. Now, if you want to sleep, obviously, it means that your body needs rest, right?
mm-hmm.
When you take those harmful things that you talk about, um, like caffeine and in all its form,
Mm-hmm.
what basically are you doing to yourself when we understand that if a person uses a knife or a gun, that person is considered what, a murderer, right?
Mm-hmm.
In our, in our hemisphere. How do you actually label an individual who does not go to sleep on time and in effect, well, you went through the process just a while ago, so we're familiar with what actually happens. Is that person actually committing suicide?
Well, I would say yes, based on how we showed you that 1 hour every night accumulates for the week to 7 hours. And that's one night of no sleep. And your body needs to rest. So your heart needs to be resting at night. That's why you don't want to drink the caffeine. You don't want to be doing any excitable activity right before sleep because your heart needs to rest. All the organs need to rest. And when you're not resting the organs, you are committing suicide by shortening your lifespan because your body has to overwork and overcompensate. It's the same as drinking very cold liquids or foods or very hot liquids, right? It is shortening your lifespan because your body has to compensate for the overly hot food to cool you down or the overly cold food to warm you up.
Well, all right. So I'm very grateful for this presentation. I'm sure that there will be people who would have been helped from this presentation, and we need to get that message out there. I don't know where people get this
No.
idea from, thinking, well, this is my body basically, so I could do what I want, and I go to sleep every night. I don't get 8 hours, so what? And nothing happens to me. Um, so we need to, people need education. This is basic. And I'm not saying it in a manner to debunk the individuals or to
Mm-hmm.
make them, individuals. It's just that a lot of folks in conversation, after explaining and going through the process, would
Mm-hmm.
eventually come around and realize that they're actually hurting themselves. So I think that's the way we got to go. We got to keep on educating and educating, having the platforms like these where people could get the irrelevant information so that this will be not just a place to exist, but a better place in which we will live a healthy life. Thank you so much for your
Amen.
time.
Thank you. And of course, when we first got married, and I see your hand, Thomas will come in a minute. When we first got married, my wife and I in 2004, we were living in New York, upstate New York, and she was working as a bedside nurse on the night shift. And before we got married, I said, baby, that's not going to work for a number of reasons. One, I'm not going to sleep with a cold pillow for 3 nights a week, especially I'm just married. That ain't going to happen. But it did happen. And we began to pray about it because during the day, she would not be at her best. She wouldn't be thinking straight, moody, sleeping. And it was really affecting our marriage. And I began to pray and fast. And I told God, I said, listen, until you give my wife a day job, which she needs for her health, every morning at around 2 o'clock or so, I would take my pillow, my sheet. I'm going to drive to her parking lot where she works, and I'm going to sleep in the car there. Because if she's working and she can't get a comfortable bed, neither am I going to sleep in a comfortable bed. I think after about 3 weeks or so, God blessed her with a daylight job. Right? It wasn't easy, but I was just having solidarity with her. Sleeping at night, I know some people think, well, as a nurse or a doctor, what have you, at night is quieter. I can do my extra studies, whatever it is, but you're really hurting your body because it needs to stop. Nobody here who owns a car would have it running continuously for an entire day, because the gas is going to run out or the oil is going to burn out and the engine will get destroyed. And this body is a fearful machine that God made. And he says rest. As a matter of fact, science is now proving, now catching up with the Bible, that we need to be in bed by 10 o'clock. It's now coming up with that. All right? And it's telling us it will affect your brain. You can even get dementia because the neuron that they're sparking continuously, sparking, that is not healthy. And even though you might, now, when I was younger, let me admit, when I was much younger, probably 40 years ago or so, when I was in my 17, 18, around there, we would be up, especially on a Saturday night, my friends and I, we'll be up till 1, 2 in the morning. We go to KFC and we buy a bucket each. I mean, it was crazy. And we would fall asleep at about 3 o'clock and get up at 6 o'clock Sunday morning to go play basketball in the hot sun till midday. And that's when we were young and foolish, right? And by the grace of God, we survived. But my good friend began to get sick. My friend Roger, he almost died because we were not getting the sleep our body needed. All right. Elder Hopeton, go right ahead, please.
Yes. To what extent does lack of sleep create or maintain recurring headaches?
Well, it does. It does, because you're not sleeping because you're stressed, and stress can cause headaches, right? And then you're stressed about not sleeping, and stressed about being stressed, and your brain is not relaxed. You will get headaches, right? And that could even lead to migraine headaches, which you don't want. So it plays a big part. All right, I see.
Okay,
sorry, go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's okay. Thanks. I was just to what extent, but I think you've essentially answered the question.
Yes. Yeah, it's a large percentage. It does. Fellow disciple, go right ahead, and then I'll take Dora.
Can you share the supplement line company's name, please, in the text?
The supplement company? Oh, Rain Rain International, RAIN, Rain. And at the end, I'll give you the website to go through it, unless you have to leave. It's 2 slides away. All right, you'll get the information.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Dora, go right ahead, please.
Oh yes, what would you recommend? I go to bed around 10 at night, but then I end up waking up around 2 something, like 2:30ish, possibly 3. What would you recommend for me to sleep through the night?
Well, first of all, if you are falling asleep by 10 o'clock and getting up at 3, you're actually getting about 8 to 9 hours of sleep.
Okay.
All right. So, but unless you want to get more, one suggestion I would have is, like we talked about, having the quiet room, the temperature at the right place between probably 68 to 75 degrees or so, for the AC, and you exercise during the day. And one thing also, two other things, this is for everybody. If you get sunlight during the day, the sunlight acts as an X-ray machine to kind of pinpoint different parts of your body that needs to get healed. And when you're sleeping by 10 o'clock, the body begins to heal those areas, right? Secondly, if you get the sunset sunlight, all right, sunset sunlight, that shuts down the cortisol in your body that kept you awake and energized during the day, and turns on melatonin to help you to sleep. All right. So besides using the almonds, besides using the chamomile tea, if you go to the farmer's market, you can ask for bay leaves, and that's also good at using the West Indies. People can't sleep, for babies what have you, is very powerful. Bay leaves, BAY, bay leaves, the chamomile tea, and the almonds, and trust in God. So if you're in bed and you can't fall asleep, two things you can do. One, lay on your back comfortably, be still, take some nice deep breaths, try to relax your body, and focus on God. Some aspect of Jesus Christ, some aspect of something nice about God. And your mind will begin to relax and your body will begin to relax. But if you find yourself waking up at a time you don't want to, chances are you are going to bed with stress on your mind, and that will cause you not to have pleasant, restful sleep.
Pastor,
Yes.
I remember you were talking to me. Go close that door for me. And you were telling me some of the like
Hold on,
different
hold
organs.
on to this. Can you lower your
Close the
volume,
door.
please? Lower, yeah, or close the door, please. You're getting a feedback. Thank you so much.
Hello?
Yes, go ahead.
Yes. At different time, different organs of your body is getting regenerated. So can you elaborate on that, please?
Yeah, well, there was no specific time per se that I know about, but from 10 p.m. and onwards, when you're asleep, the organs are reprocessed, regenerated, only if you're asleep. So for example, if you go to bed with food on your stomach, your digestive system is the most overworked system in your body. And that system needs to rest. When you go to bed with food in your stomach, your digestive system does not get that refreshing that it needs to get, or your heart, or your lungs, or your kidney, or your liver, or your spleen. They need that rejuvenating so you can wake up fresh and bright the next day. Hope it answered your question.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. All right. Any more questions or possible positive comments that can benefit everybody? Good to see you, Ms. Grant. Glad to have you. And
Good evening,
Roy,
everyone. Oh, sorry.
Thank you, sir.
praise God. Good to have you. Yes, go right ahead, please. I'm sorry. Who was that?
Yeah, Sister Scott.
Yes. Hi, Sister Scott. Thank you.
Hi. I have a positive comment. You know, I find that if I can't fall asleep, I will go through all the memory verses that I have that I know. I'll go through all the books of the Bible and then the memory verses, and next to no time, I'm gone. I fall asleep. So
Yeah.
maybe those who are having that problem can try it and see if it will work for them.
Good. Thank you. Very good. Very good.
But Pastor, I've heard a number of times recommendations to use bay leaves, but what would be the recipe, a useful recipe, as to how much leaf, how much water, etc., that one could use to be effective?
It depends on taste and the amount of people using it for. 2 leaves or so, the dried leaves should be enough to be steeped or boiled in some water, depending on how much you're making. And as we're on that, if you're using honey, it's not advisable to use honey in very hot liquids. It changes the potency and the efficacy of the honey to make it something dangerous to your body. All right, so don't put honey in boiling tea. Let it cool a while, then put the honey. But about 2 leaves or so, depending on how much people you're making it for, should be enough.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Seems that we have no more questions. Well, we normally take prayer requests for you. And by the way, this is our contact information. Fellow disciple, you can go to www.seednutrition.com/Dr. Ray.
Thank you.
Very good. And this is our website for our academy. This is our YouTube channel. So we're asking everybody who's here to consider subscribing to our YouTube channel, H.E.A.L Lifestyle Academy. He is an acronym. H.E.A.L Lifestyle Academy. Please subscribe and ring the bell so you can get notifications when we put our new videos on. That would really help us.
Okay.
Right.
Before you have your closing prayer, sorry to interrupt you,
No
but you just
problem.
touched on honey. It's said that honey has live enzymes. And if you have to use honey, you should not use the regular spoon. You
Correct.
basically should use a wooden spoon.
Correct.
And if you don't have a wooden spoon, you should use a plastic spoon and not one of those regular
Metallic.
spoons.
Correct.
Metallic, yeah. What's the reason for that? Could you just clarify that for the benefit of folks who are on?
Well, I'm not an expert in that area, but I know because of the metal, right? It's the same thing as there's some people say an old wives' tale, but it works. That if you're boiling water and you don't want the water to spill over, put a wooden spoon. Put a wooden spoon, right? Because the wood more or less doesn't allow the water. Sorry, when you have a metallic spoon across there, that sucks in the heat. So in the same way with sweetening the tea with the honey, the metal gets hot in there, that boiling water gets hot, and there can be vapors of aluminum coming off. It's the same as having a metallic tooth. Excuse me. Having one of those metallic fillings, it has mercury in there. And when you drink hot tea or you scrub that tooth, the vapors come off and can cause brain damage. So I think it's along the lines of that with a metallic spoon to sweeten your tea. And long ago, growing up, those of us who are not that bourgeois now, long ago, we had wooden spoons. Some of us would go by the fence and pick one of the vines and make a toothbrush. Now we get very fancy. All right, so the wood is much better, or the plastic, the wood being better than the plastic, but the plastic is better than the metallic spoon by far.
Thank you very much, man.
Yes, sir. All right, are there any more questions or comments that I am able to answer?
Yes, Doc. Can sleeping in the day compensate for the night sleep?
No, it can't. As a matter of fact, sleeping for too long during the day, too close to evening, will affect your night sleep. If you are sleepy during the day, you can take a power nap around midday. In fact, in Spain, they have what's called a siesta around 12, 1 o'clock. Every day the city shuts down. People take a rest. You don't have to sleep, just lie down and rest to rest your heart. And they live much longer than we do. So a power nap is about 15 to 20 minutes where you lay down in a hammock or on a sofa, on a bed, not sleeping in particular, but just relaxing, meditating on God's word, meditating on nature, about 15 to 20 minutes without moving. And when you get up from there, you will feel so refreshed. But to your question, Sister Isaac, if you sleep during the evening time, too close to the time to sleep, your body would be too revived and you'd not be able to sleep properly during the night.
And Dr. Rayburn.
Yes, ma'am.
So people that work at night, what can they do?
All right, good question. I was hoping somebody would have asked me that. All right, so if you work at night, by God's grace, I'm not telling you to not do your job, but if you're able to sit down and get some rest, get a power nap here and there, that is much better than just working through the night. But if you have to work through the night, depending on your job, when you get home, you want to have thick, dark curtains, thick and dark, to keep out light, to block every window. And you want to have your room as soundproof as possible and comfortable to sleep. So the darkness, your body is going to be fooled by the dark room that is at night, and you'll be able to sleep. Of course, that sleep does not make up for the night sleep, but the body is tricked into thinking it is night, and you get more rest than you would get sleeping in a room with bright light, people making noise, and what have you. That's one of the best options.
I heard, Pastor,
Yes.
that sleeping for too many hours can be just as bad as sleeping for too few hours. Is there any truth to that?
Well, before I could answer to the truthfulness or none thereof, I'd have to understand what the person meant by too many. I've never seen that number on any number scale. Too many could be,
Oh,
for some people, too many could be 3. So I'm
too
not sure.
many more than 8. Too many more than 8. You said that you should sleep for like 7 to 8 hours. Now, if you're sleeping 10 hours, 11 hours,
Mhm.
that's too bad for you.
Well, yes and no, right? If you're ill, you have the flu, the fever, your body's run down, your body's going to catch, once your body catches you resting, it's going to try to make up for the lack thereof, right? So some people, because of their jobs during the day, fatigue, whatever it is, they will tend to sleep more. And that shouldn't be every night, right? Because again, if you go to bed by 10 o'clock, by between 10 and 12, the time begins to double. So by 3 o'clock or so, based on the doubling of the time, you've already slept for like 7 or 8 hours, right? So if you get up 6 o'clock, that's like 9 hours. But that 9 hours is not the same as 9 hours by itself, absent the doubling of the time, right? And so in everything, there needs to be moderation in everything. But I was saying that older adults need between 7 to 9 hours. Adults need 7 to 8, but the older adults, the older we get, we need more sleep, just like a baby, right? Could be going back in, as it were, in that stage. All right. So, but sleeping all day, unless you're very tired and you're sick. Some people I know, they would be up all night, every night. Then one day they fall asleep. They might sleep for 24 hours. I remember when we got married, my wife and I, we went to Alabama. We drove from New York, upstate New York, to Alabama, Huntsville, Alabama. I drove all the way. I didn't want my wife to drive. I drove all the way. I didn't know. She drove like an hour or two. Coming back to New York, she advised me, which I didn't listen to. And men, listen to your wives, okay? She said, baby, let's stop and rest. I said, no, I'm good, I'm good. I got this. You know, I'm trying to show her how much man I am. And I drove for over 18 hours or more without resting, except for gas. And when we came back to the house, I think we got there probably like 6 in the evening. She said, baby, let's go and rest. Our bodies are tired, even though you were driving. I think I'm good, I'm good. I went and eat, I went and watch TV, and I think I went to bed at probably about 9:30. I am here to tell you, my wife is here to confess. I slept for almost 24 hours. My body was just knocked out. All right.
Yeah.
So, you know, when you don't know, you don't know. But when you know, God's gonna hold you accountable. All right. Now I know better. Now I know better.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Any more questions or comments? There's some very good questions, good comments this evening. Really appreciate it.
Nope, that's it.
All right. Okay. All right. So are there any prayer requests? And let me just stop the recording. Let me just stop the recording.